Ever wondered what it feels like to walk on the edge of the world, where one wrong step could send you plummeting into the abyss? These aren't your typical hiking trails, they're death-defying cliff walks that push fear to the limit. From narrow ledges clinging to towering mountains to sheer drops with nothing but a shaky rope for support. Only the boldest dare to take these paths. So, are you brave enough to face them? Let's find out. Mount Hua's Plank Walk, China. Picture this. You're strapped to a harness, stepping onto wooden planks barely wide enough for your feet. On one side, a sheer rock face. On the other, absolutely nothing. Just a 7,000-foot drop into the abyss. Welcome to Mount Hua's Plank Walk, often called the most dangerous hike in the world. This death-defying path, located in China's Shanxi province, was built centuries ago by monks searching for enlightenment. But let's be honest, most people walking this today are just searching for a way to not fall to their doom. And here's the kicker, there are no handrails. The only thing keeping you from plummeting is a rusty old chain bolted into the cliff. Oh, and just when you think it couldn't get any worse, people are coming from the opposite direction. Yep, you'll have to unclip your harness, squeeze past them and reattach yourself, all while balancing on nothing but a few wooden planks bolted into rock. So why do people do this? For the bragging rights, the breathtaking views and the adrenaline rush like no other. But if you have even the slightest fear of heights, maybe stick to a nice, safe sidewalk instead. El Caminito del Rey, Spain. They call it the King's Little Pathway, but don't let the cute name fool you. El Caminito del Rey is anything but little when it comes to danger. This narrow pathway clings to the cliffs of Spain's Gaitanes Gorge, suspended 300 feet above the river below. And for years, it was infamous for being one of the most dangerous hikes in the world. The original path, built over 100 years ago, was crumbling, full of missing sections and had no guardrails. Hikers literally had to balance on old steel beams or risk falling to their deaths. After multiple fatalities, Spain finally decided to renovate it. Today the new path is much safer with wooden planks and safety cables, but don't get too comfortable. The drop is still just as terrifying and strong winds can make your heart pound faster than ever. Would you dare to cross a bridge made of glass high above jagged rocks? Because that's part of the adventure here. And if that doesn't make your palms sweat, wait until you see the final section. A narrow swaying bridge that connects two cliff faces. One misstep, and it's a long way down. Are you up for it? Or are you already feeling dizzy just thinking about it? Aonach Eagach Ridge, Scotland. Welcome to Scotland's Aonach Eagach Ridge, a hike so terrifying that once you start, there's no way back. Seriously, no turning around, no easy exits, just a narrow rocky ridge with massive drop-offs on both sides. This isn't your average hiking trail, it's a full-body challenge requiring hands, feet, and nerves of steel. At some points, you'll have to crawl or climb across jagged rocks while the wind howls around you. Oh, and did I mention, it's often wet and slippery? Because Scotland's weather loves to add an extra dose of danger. The entire ridge stretches for miles, offering breathtaking views of Glencoe, one of Scotland's most stunning landscapes. But let's be honest, you'll be too focused on not falling to enjoy the scenery. For experienced climbers, it's a thrilling adventure. For beginners, a one-way ticket to pure terror. The challenge isn't just physical, it's mental. One wrong move, and gravity takes over. So, would you take on this knife-edge ridge? Or would you rather admire it from a safe distance with a cup of tea? No shame in choosing safety on this one. Kalalau Trail, Hawaii. Sunshine, ocean breezes, and sheer cliffs waiting to send you tumbling. Welcome to Kalalau Trail, a stunning yet deadly trek along Kauai's Napali coast. At first glance, this 11-mile trail seems like paradise. Lush, green cliffs, the deep blue Pacific, and waterfalls straight out of a dream. But don't be fooled. The Kalalau Trail is also one of the riskiest hikes in the US. The biggest threat? The notorious Crawler's Ledge. It's a narrow, crumbling path with a straight drop into raging waves below. One strong gust of wind, one misplaced foot, and it's over. And let's talk about the weather. It may look like a tropical paradise, but flash floods can turn this trail into a death trap in minutes. Hikers have been stranded or swept away trying to cross swollen rivers. Oh, and did I mention there's no cell service and no easy rescue? But for those who survive the hike, the reward is unreal. Secluded white sand beaches, epic cliffs, and a camping spot that feels like another planet. The question is, do you have what it takes to make it there? Drakensberg Traverse, South Africa. Ever climbed a rusty ladder bolted into the side of a cliff? Because that's just the beginning of South Africa's Drakensberg Traverse. This 40-mile trek in Natal National Park isn't just a hike, it's an expedition through one of Africa's wildest landscapes. The adventure starts with the infamous chain ladders, a terrifying ascent up vertical cliffs. They sway, they creak, and if you look down, let's just say, don't. Once you're past the ladders, the real challenge begins. There's no marked trail, no clear path, just endless ridges, dramatic drop-offs, and miles of unforgiving terrain. Oh, and did I mention wild weather? One moment it's sunny, the next, you're trapped in freezing fog, trying not to lose your way. But for those who make it, the views are beyond words. Jagged peaks, rolling clouds, and the vast African wilderness stretching forever. Just don't forget, getting in is hard, but getting out is even harder. Are you ready for the climb of your life? Cascade Saddle, New Zealand. New Zealand is famous for its jaw-dropping landscapes, but Cascade Saddle takes it to another level, literally. It's a 6,500-foot climb through one of the most dangerous alpine routes in the country. The challenge? Steep, wet, and unstable terrain. Imagine hiking up grassy slopes, so slick you feel like you're on ice. One misstep and you're sliding hundreds of feet down into the valley below. That's not an exaggeration, hikers have died here. But if you survive the ascent, the payoff is unreal. Panoramic views of Mount Aspiring, endless glaciers and valleys so vast they don't even look real. It's like stepping into a scene from Lord of the Rings. The hardest part? Coming back down. Those same slippery slopes are even worse in reverse. Many hikers crawl on all fours just to avoid tumbling. So if you're looking for a challenge that'll push you to your limits and reward you with one of the best views on Earth, this is it. Just make sure your hiking boots and nerves are ready. Angel's Landing, Utah. If you have a fear of heights, Angel's Landing in Zion National Park might just be your worst nightmare. Why? Because the final stretch of this hike is literally a razor-thin ridge with sheer drops of over 1,000 feet on both sides. Yep, no room for mistakes here. One wrong step, one slip of the hand, and you're plunging into the canyon below. The only thing keeping you from falling? A thin metal chain bolted into the rock, your lifeline as you climb higher and higher. The scariest part? It gets crowded. You'll be squeezing past other hikers on a pathway barely wide enough for one person. And trust me, when there's a 1,200-foot drop next to you, that's not a situation you want to be in. But if you make it to the top, the reward is unreal. A panoramic view of Zion Canyon that will leave you breathless. That is, if the hike didn't already do that. So, would you take on one of the most terrifying hikes in the US? Or would you rather keep your feet on solid ground? No judgment, this one isn't for the faint of heart. Trolltunga, Norway. Trolltunga literally translates to troll's tongue, and honestly, it looks exactly like one. A thin, flat rock jutting out over a 2,300-foot drop. This is one of the most Instagram places in Norway, but don't let the picture-perfect views fool you. Getting here is brutal. It's a 17-mile round trip, takes 10 to 12 hours, and includes a 4,000-foot climb. By the time you reach the edge, your legs will feel like jelly. But here's the real kicker. There are no safety rails. That's right. You're free to walk, sit, or dangle your feet over the abyss. And some thrill seekers even do handstands on the edge, but not recommended unless you have a death wish. The hike itself is just as intense. You'll face steep ascents, freezing winds, and unpredictable weather because in Norway, the weather can switch from sunny to a blizzard in minutes. But for those who make it, the view is out of this world. Trolltunga is one of the most breathtaking and terrifying places on Earth. Just remember, getting to the edge is optional. Getting back is mandatory. So which of these terrifying cliff walks would you dare to conquer? Or would you rather admire them from the safety of your screen? Let us know in the comments. And if you love thrilling adventures, don't forget to like, subscribe, and hit the bell icon for more epic journeys only on Explore Edge.